Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria 3, where we are currently working our way through our construction queue here. We're running a bit of a deficit on bureaucracy, which we have queued up a fix for, and on our finances. Now, the reason that we're having difficulty with our finances is, of course, because we are having our military maxed out right now. So we want to work our way towards having this situation be positive without increasing our other forms of revenue. That would be the ideal scenario. We don't necessarily think we're going to get there anytime soon, but that would be the ultimate location to go to. Now, I do want to point out that as of the day this video goes live, we are now on patch 1.1.2, which increases, well, actually, it pretty dramatically changes the legitimacy system. So legitimacy has been overhauled pretty thoroughly. So if we go in and look at our legitimacy, we're actually a legitimate government right now. Just barely. So this is our government option here for a legitimacy of 55. This government option is 52. And this government option is 26. Now, we are currently... Let's see, that would include the rural folk. Yeah, that would drop our government. So we definitely don't want to do that. We just want to have the evangelicals and the Junkers, but we are positive in our legitimacy. So that's absolutely great. Because we are now considered legitimate, we are getting additional loyalists every month. So that's great. We're going to continue to tick on forward here. And we do have this revolution for restoring propertied women. Their radicalism only goes up to high, so I'm not too concerned about it. So they're just going to proceed there, and that's reasonably fine. So we are getting started working on these government administration expansions. That's great. And our arms industries are going to finish up construction quite soon as well. Okay, I was just checking to see here if we were, in fact, pulling fully from our investment pool while building the government administrations, and indeed we are. So that's fine. I want to also pop over to our buildings here. Our war machine industry is about to be complete, and we need to get that set up. So we're going to get this done 1 week until completion. Any moment now. There we go. So that is now complete. So we hop over into our urban section and war machine industries. Here we go. So all war machine industries currently have aeroplane production. If we prioritize tank production, we produce 10 fewer aeroplanes. How many do we produce right now? Okay, so that'll bring us down to 40 aeroplanes per level. Got it. So this will definitely be the way to go. Swapping over to tank production. And publicly traded would probably be a little bit better. Should we swap to publicly traded for any of these others? We can take a look at that. I'm guessing broadly no. So for the moment, that's fine. Apparently publicly traded is... we can leave that on privately owned. That's okay. So we're getting these war machine industries underway, and we do have some low market access, Baden, Bavaria, Franconia. Those should all be being worked on as it is. I believe that they are somewhere in this mess. They should be. Our insufficient taxation capacity should be being dealt with as well. And we have this unproductive trade route. I would definitely like to try to import more oil if we can. We are very oil hungry. There's no doubt about that. Unfortunately, we simply can't, so it is what it is. We also have expensive military goods being aeroplanes and tanks and opium. Opium, the price has dropped on opium. We can bring some in from the Russian market. We're already the #2 producer on aeroplanes. Who's #1? Great Britain, by a very wide margin. Okay, sure. What about tanks? We're the #1 producer of tanks. Okay, now we haven't finished very many of our war machine industries. I do want to hop into here and make sure that those are set to auto-expand. There we go. Go ahead and auto-expand that. Go ahead and auto-expand munition plants. There we go. Any of these others that need to auto-expand? I don't believe so. Oh, yep, sulfur mines. But there's no expansion possible there. Same with oil rigs. So nothing really to be done there. Beautiful. So we're going to tick on forward here and continue to work our way through all of these government administration constructions. I'm a little bit concerned right now as well about explosives. We'll see how that ends up going. Last time we checked in on that, explosives were not profitable to produce. Yeah, so we probably shouldn't expand that at this moment. Okay, looks good. How much are we losing in unrealized taxes? 60K. Noted. We do have some unemployment going on here. So that's reasonably good. And our GDP is kind of flattening out for the moment. But I think that overall this is okay. We are spending 614K on subsidies, so that has definitely come up. Do we have an engines shortage? No. Tanks, airplanes, dye, and oil. Okay, so that's all reasonably fine. Let's go in here and look at our synthetics plants. We do have some profitability to upgrading our synthetics plants. So we should probably think about that, although they should, in theory anyway, auto-expand at some point. Right? At some point. Let's check in on our ones in Brandenburg. Synthetics plants. Your cash reserves are dropping. Noted. Okay. It does bear noting that this increase of the minimum wage with our workers' protections will do a couple of things. One, it'll increase our minimum wage by 50%. So that should, I think, it'll increase our per capita GDP for sure. Will it increase our overall GDP? I don't think so, but I think our per capita will. Well, no, that's not how that works, is it? No, but our standard of living would definitely increase. That would definitely increase, but it may make a lot of our industries currently unprofitable. So that's another potential issue to think about. Hello, what is this? Saxony wants to enter into a defensive pact with us. Let's see here. They should still be a protectorate of Austria. They are. I guess we'll accept that. Plus 50 relations right now. So if we were to absolve their obligation, they would now be considered friendly to us. Okay, let's check in on Bremen here. And I also want to... Oh, that's very flickery. I want to check in on Hohenzollern. And they are still wary. However, we could form an alliance with them. And we'll go ahead and do that. Their opinion of us should improve pretty dramatically after they accept that. We'd like to invite them to our customs union. And we now have workers' protections. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on what that ends up meaning. And yes, they did enter an alliance with us. That's perfect. So at this point, how far away are they from a customs union? Well, they're only amicable right now. So that's noted. We are bankrolling them, and that will continue to come up. A donation of knowledge, huh? Oh, she wants to fund a university. Done. Okay, cool. So propertied women drops down to 25. It was 24, but it drops down. So the number of radicals hugely dropped off. And it will be continuing to drop. That's really, really good. We're very pleased about that. And we're doing okay on our bureaucracy at this time. Our construction queue has lessened. That's probably for the best, considering our number... Well, our number of unemployment has come up, actually. We have almost 1 million that are either peasants or unemployed. Fascinating. We're still chilling at a legitimate government. We can think about another law, though. Elected bureaucrats? What would that end up doing? Minus 15% bureaucracy institution cost multiplier, and plus 25% petite bourgeoisie political strength. Okay. The intelligentsia and the Junkers would oppose this. I kind of like having the taxation capacity here. Elected bureaucrats doesn't really help us all that much. I don't think propertied women does either, so I think that's completely fine. We can't change anything in our citizenship laws. We can't change off of monarchy. Now, we'd like to try going back to universal suffrage at some point. That would increase our legitimacy by 25 to 100. That'd be really good. Unfortunately, we can't do that right now. So, we're on freedom of conscience. Evangelicals would oppose, intelligentsia would increase, but we can't actually do that. So, anything else that we can work on? A lot of this we just simply can't do anything with at this moment. Migration controls we can't change. Slavery is, of course, banned, which is fine. Right of assembly, sure. Workers' protections, yeah. Just, in general, not a lot we can do. Okay. So we're going to chill here. And we should be seeing our standard of living, at least for the lower and middle strata, increasing. Certainly for the lower strata. And it is indeed going up. So that's good. Our population is cruising on upward as well. We're gaining nearly 1 million population a year now. That's very good. That's very, very good. The radicalism on propertied women has dropped dramatically down to 19. The major problem... Well, what is this? Revolutionary Austria versus Austria. Now that's interesting. That's very interesting. And our GDP just dropped like a rock, as did our income. That might recover, like, after this next week tick. Let's see. Not really. Subsidies are really expensive. Are we running an engines shortage? No, but we do have low market access in several locations. Well, we're working on it. It should, in theory, be fine. We should probably work on this dye input goods shortage. How much do we need? Oh, wow. We need like 6,500. So how much does each synthetics plant produce? 40. Okay, pulling up a calculator here. 40... Actually, I need to do this the other way around. 6,500 divided by 40. 162.5 is what we need to make that up. That's a lot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So each one of these would need like 16. We can double the size in Brandenburg and in Hesse and in Anhalt. In fact, we can double the size on all of these. And that would get us the dyes that we need. But would that actually be good? Hard to say. We're running a big deficit right now. The question is, do we want to participate in this? We can lean over here and see if they offer us anything. For the moment, I'm thinking about how much we're spending here. Government wages is huge. No doubt about that. So dropping our government wages would do a lot. Do we care about the authority? No. Do we care about the intelligentsia and petite bourgeoisie approval? No. So I think we just drop it down to here so that we don't have any malices. So that's going to save us a good chunk. No doubt about that. The other thing that we can do is we can back off on our military structures. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do here. No doubt about that. But for the time being, I think this is okay. So we're keeping an eye on this and seeing if these guys are going to offer us anything. We're hoping that they'll offer us an obligation, and we're keeping an eye on anybody deciding to help out Austria. Now, Revolutionary Austria, what do they think of us? They're cooperative to us. They view us as a potential friend. Fascinating. We can begin improving relations with them. I'm not going to bankroll them, but we can begin improving relations with them. Just in case. Because it looks like they're going to win, assuming that no one intervenes here. So that looks reasonably fine. Cool. We should be seeing our GDP starting to come back up soon, although we do have this market access issue. I want to check in here. And yeah, there's a lot of synthetics plants. I want to check in here to see, do we have railways being built? We do. Okay. And yes, there's a lot of synthetics plants. We're probably going to have to build additional railways beyond that. But I would like to get this dye input goods shortage out of here. We do have some inactive trade routes, and we will get rid of those and the unproductive trade routes. There we go. Austria has backed down. Now that's interesting. $2.57 million in debt? That's barely any debt. We can take on their debt, but they wouldn't accept it. Bankrolling them would be reasonably cheap, to be honest. We could do that. We drop our bankroll over here on Bremen. That's not actually helpful to us. Okay, so something kind of like this. Now, of course, we're in a deficit at the moment, and we're in a bit of an economic downturn right now. And the question is, why? Well, I suspect that this might have to do with what I said previously about some of our industries no longer being profitable with that minimum wage increase. We'll see if that ends up being true. That said, our number of loyalists now outweighs our number of radicals. That is huge. That is absolutely huge. I don't think we care about this diplomatic play at all. We'll declare neutrality there. Cool. And we're just looking to construct as much as we can here. So electrics industries, tooling workshops, yeah, we're going to get these synthetics plants done reasonably soon here. And yes, this deficit is huge. There's no doubt about it. But we can turn this deficit around at basically a moment's notice if we choose to. So for the moment, I think it's reasonably okay. I do want to see the constructions on these railways finishing up. And how are we doing on our, well, airplanes, artillery, tanks? So it looks like we need more war machine industries. At least like 3. And we need more artillery creation as well. So in that case, we should get additional arms industries. And we need a few of them. They're a little expensive, but that's to be expected. I'm going to queue up 15 of those. And then war machine industries, we are going to queue up in Brandenburg another 10. Okay. So the idea of this is not to have them be profitable. I don't expect them to be. But overall, that'll be fine. And we'll get these synthetics plants done eventually. But we do have to consider our number of unemployed is actually increasing. Now that's intriguing. I'm wondering if people have been being fired because of unprofitable businesses. I think that's reasonably... Hello. Revolutionary Saxony. We're already involved in this. Right. On whose side? on the side of Austria and Saxony, regular Saxony. Well, we can just decline to do anything. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Cool. So we're not going to participate in that. We could enact a presidential republic here. That would be an interesting choice. The evangelicals and the Junkers would absolutely hate it. I don't think we go for that right now, but it's definitely an interesting proposal. We could bump our taxes up. That would drop our legitimacy. Our legitimacy already dropped. Okay. Now that's interesting. Hypothetically, if we ditch the conservatives and we put in the Free-Minded People's Party, they support an ongoing revolution, so we can't actually do that. That's going to go away eventually. We'll come back to that. But if we're already dropped, then that means that having our legitimacy here doesn't actually help. And we should be chilling more like here. Cool. Revolutionary Saxony has backed down. No shocker on that one. And our construction is proceeding apace. Two Sicilies wants to enter into a trade agreement. Sure. So that's... Where does that show up here? Because I noticed that our income dropped the moment we accepted that. So where does that actually show up in here? I don't know. That's very interesting. Very interesting indeed. So our GDP is holding firm at this moment. And how much unemployment do we have now? 1.14 million. Chemical warfare has been unlocked. And we could think about increasing our construction. That's for sure. We could think about that. Because if our unemployment is outpacing our construction right now, with us at full construction, then we should definitely work on that. Because if we go in here, we're currently paying 206k in welfare payments. Yeah, look at that. So in that case, that might end up being a worthwhile thing to do. We haven't expanded our construction in a long time because we overbuilt it at first. But we could take all of these that have a construction sector and just max it out. Like this. That's probably going to be quite expensive. And once again, overbuilt. That, I assume, gets added on after our existing construction. And yes, that appears to be the case. Okay. Noted. So our deficit is building up here, right? There's no doubt about that. And I think for the moment, we're going to go ahead and hop over to turning down our military. I just wanted to make sure that we would have the supplies to do this. And it would appear that we now do-ish. So we'll get all of that turned down, and you can see instantly our deficit is so much better. We would be positive if it wasn't for our construction. We could also consider turning down our military wages at this time. And I think that's fine. I think we definitely can do that. So we'll turn that down. And that's all looking good. So we have huge amounts of construction happening. Each man kills the thing he loves. The infamous dandy playwright, 3 dashes, okay, has been sentenced to 2 years of hard labor on a charge of homosexuality. If he doesn't receive a pardon, as I apparently kicked my desk, fantastic, we may as well have sentenced the arts in North German Federation along with him. It has all the terrible beauty of a Greek tragedy, a tragedy in which I took a great part. The books that the world calls immoral are books that show the world its own shame. Okay, so what are the actual outcomes here? Intelligentsia would get approval, and the evangelicals would lose approval. Plus 25 authority, and minus 2 petit bourgeoisie. Or the clergymen become more radical, and the academics become more loyalist. Okay, We need to know how many clergy versus how many academics we have. Oh, wow, our standard of living has really come up. Okay, so we can see here that we, by the way, dropped down to position 2 instead of position 1. And we can see who is currently number 1. Does that show up in here? Oh, we can just click on this. So Great Britain is currently 1. And the reason that we dropped was because we dropped our military. I'm not concerned about that. So how many... We need to go into our population here. How many clergy do we have? So by profession. Clergy, 1.35% versus academics, 0.7%. So it's actually slightly better here for us to take this, because we'll get slightly more loyalists than we will radicals. Done. Cool. So that will boost that up ever so slightly. And we can see that our number of radicals is slowly drifting its way up right now. That's presumably... Actually, hang on. That went away. Okay. That's presumably due to our legitimacy. But let's think about a reform here. So... yeah, that wouldn't work. So we toss in the evangelicals and the Junkers. Yeah, we've got 45, 43, and 14. So we're at 64, of course, but that is because the Junkers is in government, and that's our head of state's party. And there's the total percentage of votes. Okay, so I think we can't really work our way up anymore. I think this is the best we're going to get in terms of legitimacy, which is unfortunate. We were able to chill at a legitimate government for a little bit there. But it is what it is. Okay, so our construction is proceeding incredibly quickly right now. Well, not really incredibly quickly. We should think, actually, about having our construction sectors be built first. So if we were to do that, that would increase the speed of construction of everything else. Yes, it will cost a lot to upkeep these. There's no doubt about that. But I think overall, it's probably worth it if we're indeed going to build this many construction sectors. This is a lot of clicking. A whole lot of clicking. Okay, there we go. That means that we can work our way through the rest of this queue substantially faster. So that'll be good. And these build really quick. 3 weeks each. 3 weeks each. That's remarkably fast. Okay, that sounds good. So obviously that's not going to help our balance right now. That's for sure. It's definitely not going to help our balance. But we're going to get all of these construction sectors done eventually. Yeah, 1438. And realistically, we can just kind of go until all of these are done, because I was thinking about putting a cut in, but now I'm just like, these build so fast. We may as well. Flamethrowers have been unlocked. Cool. And now we can grab something. Looks like just Navy? Sure. Aircraft carriers and modern battle fleet tactics, which is already being worked on. So we'll grab aircraft carriers. Beautiful. And yeah, as expected, this is very expensive. We're not shocked about that. But we are building a lot faster. So that will hopefully help us get caught up with that unemployment issue that we've got. We have a lot of people who need employment, and hopefully we're building things in locations where they are, or they'll migrate. That's what we're hoping for. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to see about, hopefully, not hitting our credit cap here, but I think we're probably going to hit our credit cap. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to, that was the wrong button, all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, ALS Gamer, Kentuin, James Shadowwolf, M. Lohan80, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Video Games Are Not Real, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Unisol, Kadra, Rogue Corvid, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.